Good afternoon, people. Today we're going to do a little adventure. We're going to go pick some chanterelles, but I wanted to show you what I have here. I'm going to do a full review on what's underneath here, which is the Rad Rover e-bike for hunting. But I'm also going to use it today to go hunt mushrooms. And I'm also going to do a review on the Pro Bike Tool traveling cover for an e-bike. This is the extra large size, and I want to give those of you out there who use e-bikes and you know they're electric and you can't get them soaking wet and you need a good cover. Well, this thing actually works when I'm going down the road 55 miles an hour for several hours at a time. Let's take a closer look at it right here. All right, it's got ties back here. It's got some straps on the top, also straps under the bottom. And then as you see, I have this Harbor Freight. Harbor Freight trailer right here that I'm using to carry the e-bike because the e-bike's really heavy. So those are all things I'll do a review on, but today we're going mushroom hunting. Let's hope we find some chanterelles. Okay, here we are out in the woods. We're gonna be doing some mushroom hunting. Today we have Steve Freeze with us, and Steve and I probably started mushroom hunting about the same time, except he's probably done it 10 times more than I have. He's really invested some time. We're out here in a spot that he was gracious enough to bring me to, and hunters and fishermen protect their hunting and fishing spots, well, so do mushroomers. And Steve's not only an awesome fisherman and hunter, but he also is a pretty good mushroom picker. And so he's going to go ahead and give us a little bit of information about what you need when you come out here to pick mushrooms and what you're looking for.
Well, normally we're on foot, but we decided to ride bikes in here, so my glasses are all fogged up and whatnot. You need a collection bag. I think one of the biggest errors people do is they pull the entire mushroom out and that harvest it for life. So you need a good sharp knife, and when you go in to cut it, you're going to cut the base of it and leave that established, and that'll guarantee years of other picking. When you're looking at vegetation, you definitely want Doug fir, and dominant Doug fir, at least 25 years old, but optimally 50 to 100 years old Doug fir, where that all the needles have created fertilizer for these mushrooms. The other thing you're looking at vegetation-wise are really three shrubs. The first one is salal. It's not a dominant one that we look for. The next one that I target is evergreen huckleberry. With evergreen huck, that tends to be the big flag. And then the third one are these sword ferns. And when you get into an area that's got all four of those plants, you have a good chance of finding them. Now, this is on a pretty popular area, so there's a good chance there's been some mushroomers through here this weekend. So we may or may not harvest very well. If we don't, we'll go find another area.
So Steve, the four vegetation was Douglas fir, the sword ferns, huckleberry, and salal.
Salal, yep.
Okay, and about 25 to 50-year-old growth.
Older.
Or older, and you're looking for some. So talk about the undercarriage. Do you want the undergrowth to be super thick, or do you want it kind of cleaned out?
It's got to be a little bit spread. This would be ideal here if there were any mushrooms there, but like anything near a trail, it's going to get harvested. So you have to get off the place.
So for those mushroomers out there, if you saw this mushroom, first of all, you'd say it's old and rotten, but is it a chanterelle? Well, it's growing out of a stump, and chanterelles almost never grow out of stumps. Although if you look underneath it at the underbelly, it has kind of that web chanterelle look, but that is not a chanterelle. Generally, unless you're like a super expert, which I'm not, if you see a mushroom growing out of a stump and you think it might be a chanterelle, I would just not pick it. Just leave it alone.
So I was waiting for Jeff, and I looked down and I saw, you'll see the bright yellow, and as you come here, that's your first point. You have to be aware that there are false chanterelles, and so it helps to go with somebody that is knowledgeable. But you can notice the underlying vegetation. There's your evergreen huck, there's your salal, there's your sword fern. And when you look for chanterelles, these are fair-sized ones, but they're not, they get significantly bigger. So you want to make a cut. Probably could have taken a little more. And you'll note the asymmetrical form and then the veins that run all the way down. That's probably your two key, most critical identifiers. And if you want
So Steve and I wanted to point out to you that one thing you want to watch for is it seems like we find a lot more on a hillside than we do on flat ground. And I'm not sure, but I'm sure there's a reason for that. And I don't know if it has to do with the direction of rainwater or whatever it is, but they're generally on the side of a hill more than you'll find them like down in a flat. So pay attention to that. Okay, so some of you might see this and they go, oh yeah, that's the right color. Yeah, that's the right color, but notice again, it's growing out of a stick and they're small. Those are not chanterelles. These are not chanterelles. If you look, they also don't have they have the little ribs, but the ribs don't go all the way down the stem like a chanterelle. So let me pull out a chanterelle, and you can see that ribbing goes down into the stem some, whereas you can see here in this thing that's not a chanterelle, the ribbing doesn't go down into the stem at all. So even though it's the right color, not a chanterelle. Well, Steve and I picked for about 45 minutes total. We didn't get a ton. We tried a couple new spots, and I don't know, what did we get here? Maybe 30 chanterelles. Enough for us to cook them down and eat them with a piece of backstrap. We'll be out again, and hope you enjoyed this episode.